So I haven't uploaded in a couple of days. During that time, I was able to really establish, at least for myself, what direction I want this channel to go in, because I think it's important to have a clear sense of what you want to do and enjoy doing it, and not just writing it out. And initially, I think that while I enjoyed writing for my channel, I was having trouble coming up with enough ideas to just write on, because it takes a while to write each of these podcasts versus where with scene by scene I can just kind of improvise if I've seen the movie. So let us begin. The movie begins with an opening crawl, and this is where the text, right, like flows through the screen. And this was new at the time, but I think it was an important idea because while it wasn't too long, it still introduces the audience to the key ideas and the key facts, especially if the movie is just like, it doesn't even have to be a very complicated movie. If it's slightly complicated and you use an opening crawl, your audience isn't gonna have to worry at all about what's going on within the movie. They're gonna be able to understand everything. So the crawl reads, it's a period of civil war. Rebel spaceships striking from a hidden base have won their first victory against the evil Galactic Empire. During this battle, Rebel spies managed to steal secret plans to the Empire's ultimate weapon, the Death Star, an armored space station with enough power to destroy an entire planet. Pursued by the Empire's sinister agents, Princess Leia races home aboard her starship, custodian of the stolen plans that can save her people and restore freedom to the galaxy. We're provided a good amount of info into a small scene. It's not even, I don't even think it's 90 seconds long, and we're getting a lot of details, but not too many to where we're not going to understand it. And at the same time, it engages the audience. It's exciting. It's not just this boring, kind of crawl. It's explaining a lot of exciting events that are happening, and we're in the midst of them. Right after this, we're put into the third-person perspective as a spaceship roars by, being chased by another, much larger ship. These soldiers on board begin to prepare as two droids, C-3PO and R2-D2, run away. This is an important scene because it very clearly establishes our supporting characters, at least two of them, R2-D2 and C-3PO. And at the same time, it's a very interesting scene, and while it's a little weird at the beginning, it provides plenty of action where we're able to watch the stormtroopers as they breach the ship and kill all of the rebels on board. We then see Darth Vader lift a guy, off of his feet, 2 or 3 feet off the air, and choke him to death as the guy gives him what information Vader wants, and then throw him against a wall. This savage introduction clearly establishes that Darth Vader is not only a villain, but a cruel one at that. C-3PO and R2-D2, our two favorite droids, escape in an escape pod with some kind of recording that the beautiful Princess Leia has given R2. The droids are captured by Jawas, little creatures who capture and resell droids after they crash land on the nearest planet. They're then sold, and this is where we meet Luke Skywalker for the first time. A few events go through Luke's household that establish his flaws, such as the fact that he's a very headstrong teenager. He doesn't have a clear idea of what he wants to do. He thinks he does, but he doesn't actually. While R2 is being cleaned by Luke, R2 plays out a message. Why is this important? Because now we're finding out for the first time what message Leia played, and it's going to be the plot-driving factor, at least for a little while. That is, whenever a factor, some kind of thing, influences our protagonist to go and do something. This is a very important scene, because we're not only establishing our plot for the rest of the movie, or at least a majority of it, but we're learning what message Princess Leia put onto it. R2-D2. The next morning, Luke leaves after finding out that R2-D2 escaped, and after getting beat up by some natives who call themselves the Sand People, a Ben Kenobi saves Luke. Mentoring is a very important thing because it offers our characters a chance to learn and grow. While our characters, such as Luke Skywalker or Simba, always think that they have everything perfectly, in reality, there's much room for improvement, and this is where our mentors come in. They help the at least to point our protagonist in the right direction, if not to help them get there. When Luke comes back home, he discovers his parents have been killed by stormtroopers and their burning corpses are left outside for us to see. So now we're seeing what our enemy is capable of. Knowing what the antagonist is capable of is a very, very hidden detail that's always important to writing, because if you know what the antagonist is capable of, or at least have some kind of concern for it, you're going to be worried about it. You're going to feel for your characters whenever they're scared of the antagonist, and you want to fear the antagonist. You want to worry about them. You don't want to be sitting in the theaters yawning whenever the antagonist is on screen. You want to be terrified of this person. So then Luke decides that he wants to become a Jedi, or at least learn the ways of the Force, which is an offer that he declined from Ben Kenobi earlier on. This scene is very well written because we're getting a lot of information very fast about Luke's goals in the future, a very important thing to notate. When your character has goals, we know what they're going to be doing and where they're going and what's going on. Because for the life of me, I can't explain how many times our character has not had goals in so many films, and it loses so much plot depth. There's so much potential. If your character has goals, you have a clear sense of at least what they're trying to achieve. We establish a connection as our protagonist goes on a journey that's going to achieve that goal, hopefully. It gives us something to root for, something tangible. Moving on, we go to the famous cantina scene where we meet Han Solo for the first time. It's quickly established that Han is a gunslinger who at least tries to talk his way out of things, so now we're establishing that he's charismatic. Introducing a supporting character this late in a film is very risky, but it can pay off because it gives us more time to either introduce our protagonist and spend time with them, or spend more time with our supporting characters. And this pays off in this case, but it can pay off with the right plot development too. So we transfer back on board the Death Star, and this is the space station that's capable of decimating an entire planet in one go, and Leia is being tortured, and as part of her torture, they decide to test the Death Star on her home planet. The whole audience is cussing out the screen because it's a planet that looks like Earth, and this scene is great because it's not only where we finally get a glimpse at seeing what the Death Star is actually capable of, but we're getting to see that this is what these people are willing to do just to torture one person, a singular person. They're willing to kill millions of people and destroy an entire planet full of life to torture one person. One person. Rian Johnson, J.J. Abrams. I want you to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. You need some kind of proof in the story. That's right. You can't just have every convenience laid out. Anyways, back to Han's Solo ship, the Millennium Falcon. Luke is training with a lightsaber and having a little droid shoot lasers at him. When he gets shot, he wants to quit. This clearly establishes another one of his character flaws. He's very headstrong, and when he doesn't get his way, he wants to quit. He expects everything to come to him immediately, like Rey, except that it doesn't. In other words, he has something to work on. I don't think this can be said enough. If your main protagonist has nothing to work on, why are they even there? They could literally be off, just like beating the hell out of the antagonist, and then just get on with their day casually. Luke has stuff to work on. We see that he has a need to do things. That's why he's such an interesting character. And he doesn't just have everything handed to him. As the Millennium Falcon approaches the destination, they find the Death Star and get pulled in by a tractor beam. And it's not clearly established, but it's pretty obvious that a tractor beam is just some kind of magnet technology that's used to pull ships into space stations or larger ships safely. The stormtroopers search the Millennium Falcon, and once it boards the Death Star, and getting off the Falcon to disable the tractor beam is their next goal. They discover that Princess Leia is actually on the Death Star. The person they're looking for, in other words, is on the Death Star. and she's to be terminated. So the person they're looking for is on the same space station as them and is to be killed. This story just keeps getting better and better because as it unfolds, we then get to watch them rescue Leia, but then we get to watch Leia rescue them. So we're getting even more character development. This is gold. This is perfect. We're getting so much information, but it's getting thrown at us in a way that's easy to understand and is visually appealing. So Leia not only saves them, but then finds a way to, like, get them off the ship, and she gives the rebellion information. So she's a very interesting character, but she's intelligent, and she's gonna help them, and that's perfect. When we finally get to the Millennium Falcon again, we find out that Ben Kenobi is going to sacrifice himself for them in a lightsaber duel with Darth Vader. It's actually not that great of a lightsaber fight, but if you really think about it, what's at stake is very important, and it's a very kind of emotionally driven lightsaber fight because there's not that much choreography involved, but it's interesting to watch. Fighting allows the mentor Kenobi to die, and thus Luke, Leia, Chewie, and Han escape. This is perfect because now we've really seen what these people are capable of. Not only has Leia lost somebody, but Luke has lost his mentor, old Ben. So they finally get to the Rebel base. They escape to the Rebel base, and Han decides he's leaving. He's done. He gets his money, and he's out of there. Ouch. But as the Death Star approaches the planet that this Rebel base is on, it's going to destroy the Rebel base. So Luke, who's apparently an established pilot, is going to go out with several other people and try to destroy it. This right here is mastery. This writing right here is quite literally perfect. Not only are we getting a clear sense of all of our goals, but we're able to find out that Luke has a lot more to him than meets the eye. So as it continues, apparently there's like this one little reactor shaft on the surface, and basically one of the X-Wing pilots, including Luke, has to fit a torpedo into it. And this is like a tiny shaft. This isn't like anything big, right? It's like 2 meters wide. Luke decides to use a targeting computer, but at the last second, he hears Obi-Wan's, or Ben Kenobi's voice in his head saying, "Use the Force, Luke." He turns off the computer, takes it off his face, closes his eyes, and then perfectly fits it in. But before any of this happens, before Luke actually destroys it, Han comes back. That is an awesome twist. We spent so much time establishing this character, and I was ready to say, damn you, George Lucas, whenever Han was leaving. But he comes back. He comes back and saves Luke, because Darth Vader is in his own fighter about to kill Luke. But now he has the opportunity to destroy the Death Star, which he does. At the end, they're crowned heroes, and that's the end of the film. Anybody who was walking out of the theater then must have felt awesome in 1977. Because that is master writing right there. That's not just decent writing. The film did well because of its visual effects, right? But then it also performed amazingly, just incredibly, because of the writing. So, there you have it. Thanks for watching today's video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Sorry about the long wait for this video, but over this time, I've really been productive, and I've tried to find a good way to move this channel forward, and I think I found it. So, see y'all later.